So on Liam's birthday, his grandpa showed him old bottles and said, "One of these has a treasure map inside. I found it when I was a teenager, but I never managed to open it." So, which bottle is the real one? Not this one. It's already open. And not this one either. The paper inside looks way too clean to have been sitting there for years. So the best answer is bottle number 1. Now Liam has a new problem. The bottle cap is made of cork, it's broken, and he doesn't have a corkscrew. So he checks his dad's toolbox. Which 2 tools can help him open the bottle? These 2. Here's the idea. He puts the screw into the cork, then he uses the back of the hammer to pull the screw and the cork right out. Awesome! Liam finally opens the bottle, and this weird spooky smoke starts pouring out. Then, the ghost of an ancient pirate appears. He warns Liam that the treasure map is cursed, and he has to break the spell. To do that, Liam has to say one magic word out loud. The pirate gives him this clue. So, what's the word? The word is mirrored. It reads umbrella. Well, Liam says umbrella out loud and, hey, it works! But then he pauses and thinks, is that a clue? Should I actually bring an umbrella with me? So he heads to a second-hand shop and he finds 4 options. Which umbrella should he take? Well, number 2 is broken, number 3 is torn, and number 4 really isn't an umbrella. It's a parasol. So even if it's a little dirty, number 1 is clearly the best choice. Now Liam can finally focus on the map. But there's an issue. Only one path leads to the treasure. So which one is it? A, B, C, or D? Yep, that's it. Liam sets off on his adventure. One night he stops at a campsite and tells 3 other travelers about the map. The next morning, the map is gone. Well, surprise, surprise. Adam says, "I was sleeping in my tent." Daniel says, "I heard a noise coming from Liam's tent." Oliver says, "I slept outside. If anyone went into the tent, I would have noticed." So, who's lying? Well, let's see. Someone did go into the tent to steal the map. Daniel says he heard the noise. That makes sense. If Oliver was really outside the whole time, he should have heard something too. But he claims he didn't. So, Oliver is lying. Suddenly, a huge storm slams into the campsite. Liam opens his umbrella, but the wind yanks it right out of his hands. Now, lightning is striking all around. So, what should he do? Get inside his tent, lie down under a tree, or stay where he is and crouch on top of his backpack? Look closely. There are puddles under the tent. Water makes it more dangerous. And getting anywhere near a tree is a big no-no. Tall trees are more likely to get struck. The safest choice is to crouch low on top of his backpack. After the storm, something wild happens. 2 ancient Egyptian coffins get lifted up from the seabed. Each one has only one symbol on it. The first has a snake. The second has a black cat. But only one is safe to open. The other one brings bad luck. So, which one do they open? The snake is a bad sign, as this symbol was linked to chaos or darkness. The black cat might sound unlucky today, but in ancient Egypt, they were actually seen as protective. So that's the safe choice. They lift the lid, and a mummy sits up. Liam freezes. "Wait, how old are you?" And the mummy says, "My pyramid is 4,000 years old, and I'm 12 years older than that." Liam pauses and thinks that can't be true. But why? Well, if the mummy really had a pyramid, his coffin should have been found inside it, not down in the seabed. So the problem isn't the math, it's the claim. This mummy didn't have a pyramid at all. Liam tries to get back to his adventure, but the mummy just won't stop blocking his way. Finally, Liam snaps, "What do you want?" The mummy smiles and says, "If you say my name, I will disappear. What am I?" Liam says silence, and just like that, the mummy vanishes. Liam heads back to the campsite. Everyone is sitting around, listening to a traveler talk about his wild adventures around the world. At one point, the guy says, "I once went to Brazil and got lost in the Amazon rainforest. I survived for a whole week by eating pink dolphin eggs." Most people are impressed, but one guy doesn't believe him. Why? It's true that pink dolphins do live in the Amazon, but dolphins are mammals, and mammals don't lay eggs. So yeah, he was lying. Liam keeps walking on his journey and soon meets an old man. The old man looks very worried and asks for help. He says he had 22 goats. Half of them went out for a walk in the morning, but only 6 came back. So how many goats are still missing? Five goats are still lost. Now, look closely at this scene. Can you find all 5 missing goats? There they are. The old man decides to travel with Liam and says he has a compass to help them. At one point, Liam asks, "So, which direction should we go?" The old man answers, 840. But that doesn't make sense at all. Can you figure out what's going on? The old man made a mistake. He brought a pocket watch, not a compass. Now they are completely lost in the forest. The old man tells Liam not to worry because he can use the stars to find the way. Night is coming, and they know they need to go east. What should they do? So animal tracks don't necessarily lead east. The stars could help, but there are too many clouds in the sky. The best choice is option 3. Look for shelter. That way, they can wait for sunrise, then use the sun to guide them east. They're looking for shelter when they find an old house. Inside, there is a creepy lady who offers them something to drink. Liam is very thirsty, but the old man warns him, "Be careful, she's known for poisoning drinks." The lady puts 5 glasses in front of Liam, each with a different color. Liam believes one drink is safe. Can you guess which one he chooses? Look out the window. There's an orange tree outside. So Liam chooses the orange juice, thinking it must be natural. Well, turns out Liam was wrong. In fact, all the drinks were dangerous. After drinking the orange juice, he suddenly faints. The old man takes a chance and runs away with the map. When Liam wakes up, he runs after him. Can you tell which path the old man took? Ah, this one. You can see the footprints, but also marks from the old man's cane. Liam gets his map back and finally reaches his destination. Now it's time to dig up the big treasure. But where is the chest hidden? There are 3 possible spots. Which one makes the most sense? This pile is way too tall. If someone wanted to hide treasure, they wouldn't make it that obvious. This one has a huge rock on top. There's no way someone dragged that rock there just to cover a chest. So the treasure must be here. Yeah, it's covered in grass, but it's been a long time and plants have grown over it. When he finally digs up the treasure, oh boy, there's a lock with a secret code. Luckily, he finds a note nearby. It says, "Divide into 3 groups," and then shows a bunch of random letters. So, can you crack the 3-number code? Well, divide the letters into 3 groups, and you will see the words 9, 4, and 5. That's the code. Perfect. Liam opens the treasure, but when he looks inside, oops, there's nothing there. Well, looks like someone got there first. Sorry, Liam.
The police received a tip. A dangerous criminal is hiding at the beach, disguised as a regular tourist. She's one of the girls standing under a shower now. Can you figure out which one is dangerous? It's the 3rd girl in the gold swimsuit. Have you noticed that she's showering with latex gloves? No tourist would do that. She doesn't want to leave her fingerprints on any surfaces, afraid of being exposed. Sarah needs to fry 6 pies. How can she do it in 15 minutes if the pan only fits 4 pies at a time and each pie needs to fry for 5 minutes on each side? Sarah places 4 pies on the pan and fries them for 5 minutes. Then she flips 2 pies, removes the other 2, and places 2 new uncooked pies. After frying for 5 minutes, she removes the 2 finished pies, flips the remaining 2, places the last 2 uncooked pies, and leaves them for 5 minutes. Detective Case visited a lake where 3 people were minding their own business. One was swimming, one was fishing, and the other was in a boat. When the swimmer came ashore, she saw that her bracelet was missing, yet there were no footprints in the sand. Case instantly realized who had taken the bracelet. Do you know it too? It was the fisherman. He hooked the bracelet with his rod without stepping onto the sand. The captain of a Japanese ship left his watch in his cabin while he went to oil the ship. When he came back, the watch was gone. He questioned 3 crew members. The cook said he'd been in the kitchen making dinner. The engineer said he'd been in the engine room. The seaman said he'd been fixing the flag on the mast because it was upside down. The captain understood who the thief was. Who did it? The seaman. The Japanese flag looks the same right side up or upside down. A man rushed into the hospital, saw his wife lying in a bed, and shouted, "Who poisoned her?" Detective File stopped him and asked where he'd been. The man answered that he'd been at a friend's house when his housekeeper called. She told him his wife had collapsed and had been taken to the hospital. As soon as he got the news, he ran over. Detective File arrested the man immediately. Why? because no one ever said she was poisoned, only that she collapsed. Sam came to his office and found a large sum of cash missing. 3 people could have entered the office. John said that he'd been outside drinking coffee. Marcus explained that he'd been sitting at his desk working. And Lisa said that she'd felt unwell and had been resting. Who took the money? See that coffee cup on John's desk? Why would he go outside if he'd had enough coffee at hand? He must be the thief. A jeweler holding ice near his right temple claimed that a well-dressed man with a cane had come in to check out some rings. Suddenly, the man hit the jeweler on the head with the cane. When the jeweler came to his senses, the rings were gone. Strangely, the police arrested the jeweler. Why? If the man had been holding the cane in his right hand, the jeweler would have been hit on the left temple, not the right. The jeweler made up the robbery to claim insurance. Inspector Winters questioned the main suspect, Mr. Logan, after a crash caused by a speeding car. The inspector also said that the car, according to witnesses, was very loud. Logan claimed that he hadn't driven in 2 days. It was his wife who used their car that morning. Also, to prove his car was very quiet, he sat inside and started it. The car indeed ran silently, but the inspector immediately realized Logan had lied. How? If Logan hadn't driven recently, the seat wouldn't have been adjusted to his height. Martin was playing tennis with his friend David. He hit the ball too hard, it flew into the air and fell down a hollow fence post. The post was narrow and Martin couldn't get the ball out of there. Luckily, David had an idea. In no time, the guy helped Martin get the ball back. How did he do it? David used a water hose lying nearby. He filled the pipe with water, and the ball floated up. A woman saw a guy getting robbed. She screamed to warn him, but did nothing else to prevent the robbery. Why? She was just watching a TV show. An accident happens at a gas station. Some petrol spills out and catches fire. The flames are spreading toward huge drums just a few feet away. If the fire reaches them, there will be a blast. Thomas brings a water pipe to help put the fire out, but the manager stops him. Why? Pouring water will only make the fire spread faster. The manager quickly throws some soil over it and puts out the fire. 2 people were born at the same time, but they don't celebrate their birthdays on the same day. How is it possible? They were born in different time zones, and in one of these zones, it was already the next day. A man was in a 9-story building when a fire started. He jumped out the window and didn't get any injuries. How is it possible? The man was on the first floor when he jumped out the window. 4 prisoners took up art classes. They studied every Monday. Guards escorted them to the art room and searched the prisoners at the end of every lesson. All the prisoners had their own art supplies, which they kept inside their cells. The question is, which of them has more chances to escape? It's this prisoner. He can use his supplies to paint his clothes green. This way, he'll look like a guard and will be able to sneak out of jail. Alia dreams of eating some mangoes. There's a mango tree next to a nearby pond, but an imitator monkey lives on top of it. The girl can't reach the fruit. What can she do instead? She can throw something at the monkey. It'll imitate her and throw a mango at her. Mark got locked in a basement. There were no windows, only a door with a letter combination lock. What could probably give him some hint was a note he found in the corner. What is the code word? Mark managed to get out of the basement. The code word was SMART. The key to this riddle was hidden in the alphabet. P plus 3 letters is S, N minus 1 letter is M, and so on. A police officer was patrolling the streets on a winter evening. Suddenly, she saw a person sneaking out of a house through a window with 2 large bags. The officer ran after the criminal, but the burglar must have hidden in one of these houses. Which one? It's not the house on the left. There are too many people inside. There are no footprints in the snow leading to the house on the right. No one has been there for quite some time. So, it's the house in the middle. There are 4 cups on the counter, all of them upturned and hiding the same number of sweets underneath. Near each of the cups, there's a sign that says how many sweets are under it. The signs are 5 or 6, 7 or 8, 6 or 7, and 7 or 5. Only one of these signs is correct. How many sweets are there under each cup? Since only one sign is correct, the right number can't appear twice. It means there are 8 sweets under each cup. After a bank had been robbed, the police found a bag with money in the park. It was lying among cacti. The police officer arrested 3 suspects. It didn't take long to figure out who the bank robber was. Do you know who it is? It's the man on the left. He's the only one with some scratches. They must have been left by the cacti.
So, do you have the sharpest eye and a huge love for puzzles? Well then, I've got a real treat for your brain. Some fresh, crispy riddles to satisfy your intellectual hunger and test your attention to detail. 3 friends go on a summer trip around Europe together. They meet 3 girls and tell them about themselves. Steve says he has a business empire back in the US. John claims he's just inherited several million bucks. Jake mentions he is a successful athlete, but only one of them is actually rich. Can you figure out who? Well, it's tricky to tell, but looks like Jake is the one who's really well off. He has a watch made of gold, and it looks pretty legit. There are 2 customers inside a jewelry store when the light goes off for a second, whoops, and the most massive golden necklace disappears. Can you guess who stole it? It was the girl holding the flowers. Look, the necklace is hiding inside her bouquet. Adam is about to go out and celebrate his birthday, when suddenly he slips on a banana peel, no really, and loses his memory. 3 girls show up at his house and claim to be his wife. He must be a really popular man. But of course, only one girl really is his wife. Can you figure out which one? Although she looks pretty hostile and didn't bring a gift, the girl number 2 is his wife. Adam and she have the same wedding rings. Nancy and Liza are sitting on the same beach in the park. They are around the same age, but live very different lives. One of them is loaded, and another one has other priorities. So, who looks rich here? Nancy must have spent a lot of money on plastic surgeries to look like this. And that designer bag casually standing behind her also costs a fortune. Mr. Potter hired 3 new security guards for his company. He came to meet them in person as they would be responsible for his expensive equipment. At that moment, he realized there was one imposter among them. Can you point him out? It's the guy in the middle. He looks just like the others, except the word security is misspelled on his uniform. 3 girls are getting ready for a night out. They're doing their makeup and chatting, but one of them is actually hiding a secret. She might feel like a woman, but she's physically a man. Do you see who it is? The first person is a man who's hiding their Adam's apple behind the scarf. Rita went to the countryside to enjoy some peace and quiet. She was watching 7 beautiful birds sitting on a fence when suddenly she heard a loud bang out of nowhere. Someone was shooting at the birds. How many of them are left on the fence now? Zero. Luckily, they all flew away when they heard the noise. 2 sisters are hitchhiking in Italy. No one wanted to pick them up for a while, but a truck finally stopped and the driver promised to take them to Rome in no time. The sisters are happy at first. But then, one of them notices something on the road and tells her sister they need to get out of that truck. What did they see? The road sign said Rome was 100 kilometers away when they got in the truck. The next sign they noticed said it was 212 kilometers away, so they're going in the opposite direction from it. Someone stole an important document from Piper's desk. She interrogates 3 of her colleagues who could have done it. Nash says, "I spent the whole morning preparing the monthly report and didn't even stand up once." Emma says, "I walked past your desk, but only to get some cappuccino from your machine." Ben claims he just arrived and didn't even know about any important papers. Who's lying here? Emma. There's a coffee maker behind Piper's desk, but it doesn't make cappuccino. A famous singer is on vacation at a luxurious resort. There, she meets a handsome guy who is flirting with her. She feels relaxed and tells him many of her secrets. Suddenly, her bodyguard approaches the singer and tells her she shouldn't trust the guy. Why? It's sweet that the guy has a teddy bear with him. But those red lights inside the bear's eyes are hidden cameras. The guy was filming the entire conversation, and who knows what he can use it for. Someone robbed the designer watch section at a busy mall. The criminal couldn't make it out of the mall because they noticed security looking for them. They ran into a fancy dress boutique. Can you find the criminal here? Well, even if the person in the middle has really big feet, they wouldn't try on a fancy dress with dirty sneakers. The criminal must be there. Someone kidnapped 3 women in one town, one by one. All the girls say they don't remember anything, but in the morning, the criminal would drop them off at the same place, seemingly unharmed, but their hair got a bit shorter. When the criminal grabs the fourth girl, the police follow them and break into their house. There, they instantly understand why he needed the girls. Do you see it? Looks like this guy has a collection of miniature dolls, and he needed the girls' hair to make the dolls more realistic. Come on, really? Sarah has saved up enough money to open her own hair studio. She wants to buy an office in a new building for it. She has two final options. One is smaller and less chic, but it's ready. The other is way larger and looks more expensive, but she'd have to wait a bit. Which one should she choose? Well, Sarah must have a lot of patience if she chooses the second option. It says, approximate completion date 2055. Well, she had better bring a big lunch. Miranda went to an innovation conference and met three cool guys there. They were all charming, but something felt wrong about one of them. Miranda figured out it was not a real person, but a robot from the conference. How did she guess? That guy is charging his phone through a cable connected to his leg. Humans don't have that superpower yet, although I wouldn't mind testing it. James is a little obsessed with the idea of becoming the richest person in the world. One day, he meets an old woman who claims she has magical powers and can make any wish come true. But he has to wish for someone else, not for himself. Still, James managed to trick the old lady and have things his way. What did he wish for? He wished for his parents to have the richest son in the world. Clever. Leslie was window shopping when she saw her husband Nick inside one of the clothing stores. She got confused because he was supposed to be at work, so she went inside to confront him. Nick said he was picking up an outfit for his company's end-of-the-year party. But Leslie didn't believe him and understood he was cheating on her. How did she know? Leslie could see a woman hiding behind the curtains in the fitting room, and Nick had a lipstick stain on his shirt. There were 3 thefts at a local supermarket, one in January, one in April, and one in June. The security camera recorded footage of all 3 situations. A private detective looked through that footage and immediately figured out who the criminal was. Can you? In all 3 videos, there is a pregnant lady, and her belly looks exactly the same size in January, April, and June. That's physically impossible, and it means that she was the thief. She must have been faking the pregnancy all along. So, did you manage to solve all the riddles, or did they manage to trick you instead? Tell me in the comments below.
3 tourists entered an ancient pyramid and found a chamber with an inscription. What does not honor the pharaoh shall remain here forever. They saw 3 buttons with the following symbols: the sun, a scarab, and an ankh. There was also a warning that only one button opens the passage, and the others trigger dangerous traps. One of the tourists immediately pressed the correct button. Which button was it, and why did they choose it? It was the ankh. In ancient Egypt, it symbolized life, so it's the most logical choice. A golden amulet went missing during an excavation. Anna claimed she spent the day photographing wall paintings. Jack said he'd been studying the treasure map inside the tent. And Lena said she had been sketching outdoors. But the tracks in the sand led from the tent to the pyramid and back. And those were deep, narrow footprints with small heels. Do you know who took the amulet? It was Lena. She was the only one outside, and the small-heeled footprints point to her. An archaeologist descended into a lost Mayan pyramid and discovered 3 ancient masks. Which mask should he choose to find the treasure and stay alive? He should pick the jade mask with the symbols of the storm god. The Mayans trusted him with their gold and secrets. As for the rest of the masks, the golden snake is a symbol of the underworld, and it can lure one to their demise. And the jaguar is associated with aggression and night hunting, so it can lead Nathan to danger. 3 archaeologists, Dr. Laura, Mr. Thomas, and Professor Blake, are exploring a lost Mayan temple. They discover 3 stone tablets with mysterious symbols and inscriptions. Dr. Laura chooses the mirror-shaped symbol. Mr. Thomas touches the carved serpent's eye. Professor Blake steps onto the stone with a crescent moon. Who is in danger? Professor Blake. He stepped on the moon symbol, which warns he won't return. Mr. Thomas awakens the curse, and only Dr. Laura chooses wisely. She unlocks the path to the treasure. Jack finds an ancient Mayan scroll with an engraved message. Where the sun bids farewell to the day, where the river coils like a snake, where moss always hides in the shade, there the pyramid's peak is hidden from view. Jack stands by the river with a dense forest in the north, rocky cliffs and the blazing sun in the south, a clear path in the east, and a river surrounded by trees in the west. Where should Jack go? West. That's where the sun bids farewell, or sets. The river curves like a snake, and the trees provide shade. Alex arrives at a remote jungle village, hoping to find the lost ruins of an ancient Mayan city. 3 people offer to guide him. A pretty woman wants $500. An old man with a donkey wants $50. A cheerful guy in a Hawaiian shirt promises to guide Alex for $300. Only one of these people is a true guide. Can you tell who? The real guide is the old man with the donkey. He asks for a reasonable price. He's not flashy or pushy, and he has a map and a means of transportation. Justin was an archaeologist who explored ancient pyramids. One day, something went wrong, and he ended up locked in a tiny room deep underground. There was only one other door in the room, but it was locked. To open it, the guy had to solve a riddle. After mulling it over for some time, Justin guessed what it meant. Can you? The answer is, try to understand. Once, something went wrong. Yep, again. And he got locked in a tiny room. To open the door, the guy had to solve a riddle and enter the correct 4-digit code. What code should Justin enter? Each digit of the code is the number of letters in the alphabet that stand between the letters in the riddle. So, the code is 5139. There are 3 doors in front of you, with snakes, scorpions, and scarabs behind each of them respectively. You need to choose the safest one. Hopefully you know that scarabs are harmless, so you should pick the third door. One day, Julia fell asleep in the park. She woke up in a strange room with 3 doors. There were random objects lying around: bricks, empty bottles, ropes, and even a barrel. There was also a note on the wall. Behind one of these doors, there's a staircase that leads to freedom. You don't want to know what's lurking behind the other 2 doors. Julia got really frightened, but she managed to get out soon. What did she do? She dragged the barrel toward each of the doors, climbed on it, and checked whether the staircase was there. Once she spotted it, she was free. Look at these people attentively. Who do you think is in greater danger? The lion won't necessarily attack the man, of course, if he doesn't provoke the animal. If the guy tries his best to look unthreatening, the lion might simply ignore him. But the snake can easily tighten its grip, which can end very badly for this girl. Mr. Smart's wife went missing. A detective came to investigate this case. Mr. Smart told her that the last time he'd seen his wife had been in the morning. She was having breakfast. When he returned home at 6 p.m., her breakfast was still on the table, but she had disappeared. After hearing the man's story, the detective immediately arrested Mr. Smart. Why did he do so? When the detective arrived at the Smart's house, the breakfast on the table was still steaming. This means Mr. Smart had set up the scene right before he called the police. Do you see anything suspicious in this room? I'll help you. One object is haunted. A small hint: pay attention to those balloons left after a small party. Have you noticed that the red balloon has a pin in it? But strangely, even pierced, the balloon remains intact, and the air is still inside. It must be the haunted object. Look at these elderly ladies. Both of them have gone out for a walk. At first glance, they seem totally normal, but one of them is actually planning something bad. Can you figure out which granny it is? It's the granny on the right. She's got a file hidden in her knitting basket. A renowned chemist disappeared right from his lab. There was no evidence except a piece of paper lying on his desk. It had the names of 5 elements: nickel, carbon, oxygen, lanthanum, and sulfur. The guard reported that 3 people had visited the chemist that day: his sister Laura, his colleague Nicholas, and his wife Tessa. The criminal was arrested immediately. Who was it? The list of chemicals is a clue. Their abbreviations spell out the name Nicholas.